Hello everybody, Rogue Fox here, and welcome back to another Minecraft Bedrock Edition Redstone tutorial. Today, we are going to continue work on the XP furnace array that we began last week. So last week was part 1, and today's video is going to be part 2 of the XP furnace array. Before we get started on part 2, for those of you who didn't catch part 1, you will have to go back and watch that video in order to build along with us today, because we are adding on to what we did last week. So for those of you who did catch part 1, if you recall, we made the array, and then we also added the chest that would distribute all of our fuel into the furnaces, smokers, or blast furnaces. Now, you did see the overall build, and what we're going to do today is add in the item sorter that is going to go up top, and we will switch things up. We will add a furnace and a blast furnace to the mix, and keep a smoker. And then, as you did see, we do have a conveniently placed chest right here where all of our items go. That will go into a water elevator, come up, make its way over to the item sorter, and then everything will go exactly where it needs to go. And if you do recall, it was a nice, clean, and compact build, which I am very proud of. So with that, let's go ahead and get started. Let's go ahead and take a look at the supply list we need for part 2. Up top, what we're going to have is the supplies for each individual module. And again, a module is going to be the individual smoker, blast furnace, or furnace. For each one of these, you are going to need 4 hoppers, a piston, a comparator, a redstone torch, 2 redstone dust, 1 block of obsidian, 1 glass block, and then 21 named items for your filter blocks, and then the item that you do want to filter in. For this demonstration, I will use iron ore, a potato, and sand. Next, for the water elevator and its circuit, you'll need an observer, 3 hoppers, a dropper, a comparator, 1 repeater, 3 redstone dust, 39 glass blocks for the water elevator. It doesn't have to be glass, that's just what I like to use for any water elevator or water stream. 1 soul sand, and of course your bucket of water. And then finally, you'll need your building blocks, 1 stair block, and then a double chest. With that being said, if you want to pause the video, go ahead and do that, grab your supplies, and then we'll jump right into the build. To get things started, what we're going to do is place in the item sorter, and this item sorter is going to be based off the one that I released a couple of months ago with a slight alteration. So go ahead and grab your hoppers, and in the back of this barrel, run a hopper into the back of the barrel, a hopper into that hopper, 2 temporary blocks here, remove this one, a hopper running into that block, we can remove that, 2 more temporary blocks like this, remove this one, and then run a hopper into that one. From the front, what we should have is this top hopper running to the right. This hopper is running backwards. This one runs into that one. And then the bottom hopper runs into the barrel. From here, what we're going to do is place a block like this. Get your comparator and run a comparator out from the hopper that is facing backwards. Like that. Get your glass block here. Get your piston facing down. And from here, what we're going to do is replace this with our obsidian blocks. So let's go ahead and do that for all of these. Now go ahead and place a block against the side of the piston. Get your redstone torch, come around to the inside, place your redstone torch right there, get your redstone dust, and place your redstone dust on top of these blocks. So that is the redstone all set up. Now what we're going to do is repeat the process for the next 2. Once you place the rest of it in, it should look just like this. And now what we're going to do is grab a couple more hoppers and fill in the gaps. So just like this. Another one right here, and then 1 more right there. So we have our line running across the top. And then everything else, like I mentioned, is going to be exactly the same as the first one. Now for setting up the filter, what we're going to do is come to the hopper right here in front of the comparator. Let's open it up. Get your 21 named items, and let's place 5 right here. 5 right here. 5 there, and then the last 6 in that slot, and that will leave this one open. And then from here, we're going to choose what item we want to filter in. In this case, this is a smoker, so we do want to use our potato. So potato is going to go there. And then we'll do the same for each one. Go ahead and get your named items. Set them up just like this. And then for here, I'm going to use iron ore. And then for this one, I am going to use sand. Now that the item sorter is all set up, we can go ahead and give it a test. And what you don't want to do is place the items directly into the filter, because that will give us, well, I guess it's not really going to matter here because the redstone signal isn't going anywhere. But generally, when you do have an item sorter and the redstone is all connected, so if these were all actually side by side, you don't want to place items directly into the filter. That is going to break the build. But with that side note said, let's go ahead and test this out. So what we're going to do is, let's say we have our sand, ore, and potatoes. Let's go ahead and place in ore, sand, and then potatoes are going to be last, just so we can see everything doing its thing. So the ore has passed over where the potatoes go, and then we are going to have the sand passing over where the ore goes. And if we take a look inside, it's only, I guess everything has made its way down. It's only going to be what it's supposed to be. So there is the sand that is becoming glass, and then our potatoes were the last thing to go in. So there's our potatoes, ore, and the sand. So everything is working perfectly. Now let's go ahead and move on. Now it's time to place in the item elevator. And to do that, what we're going to do is knock out these 2 blocks. Place your stair block upside down right there. 1 chest there. Swing around to the back side and place your second chest right here to make a double chest. 2 temporary blocks like this. Grab your hopper. Run a hopper into that block right under that chest. Knock this block out. Get your dropper and place your dropper facing in this direction. Now go ahead and knock that block out. Grab your blocks and place a block against the dropper right there. Temporary block. 2 blocks out, a block up. We can remove these. And blocks right here. Now go ahead and grab your comparator. Run your comparator out from this block. A repeater running into that one. Get your redstone dust and place your redstone dust right here. Now get your observer and place your observer facing in this direction. So we have the arrow facing the dropper, and then we have the face looking at the redstone dust like that. From here, all of the redstone is done. All we need to do is set up our little water elevator or water stream that's going to go up and into the sorter. So let's go ahead and place a temporary block under the dropper like this. Soul sand right there. Temporary blocks around the soul sand, and then on these blocks we're going to come up 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Same for this side, and then same for this one over here. We can go ahead and knock these temporary blocks out. We don't really need those. Now go ahead and place blocks over on this side. I do believe we come up 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and that will end parallel or even with the hoppers here. And we do need one more hopper running into that one. Next, let's go ahead and place a glass block above our opening. Glass blocks here, and then a glass block on top of this hopper. That way this one is still going to be a part of the stream. Now go ahead and grab your bucket of water, and we're going to look at this block right here. Place down your bucket of water. That is going to go forward, this is going to go down, and as soon as this hits the block down here, the soul sand, this is going to turn all of the water into water sources as indicated by the bubble stream, or the bubble column. And there we go, that is everything all set up. So if we go ahead and grab, let's see, we'll just grab a stack of potatoes, and we're going to place this in to give it a test. That's going to go down, you can see them going up. That is going to make its way into the hopper, and that is going to fire up once again. And then, of course, we do want to give it one more test. So let's grab a stack of sand. We're going to throw the sand in, and we're going to remove this just to make it go a little quicker. And there goes the sand. That's going to go all the way down. It's going to bypass the blast furnace and then fire up over here. So there we go. Everything is working perfectly. Another cool thing about this build, and I do believe I mentioned this in part 1, is that the barrels allow us to store more items. So let's go ahead and throw that in. That's going to come across. Now, all of these barrels, this is cooking. The hopper is full. Normally things would start getting backed up, but because we have the hopper system or the item sorter running into barrels, all of the extra or excess potatoes or whatever we're cooking or smelting can be stored up here. And hopefully you don't have that much iron ore laying around. Either that or you had a really good mining session. But again, that is just an example. Over here we have our sand. So everything will go up into the water stream, get sorted, and then if we have bulk items, for example, we have this hooked up to a potato farm or a kelp farm, this can hold 27 stacks worth of items plus the 5 plus the one that is cooking, and that is definitely a positive of this build. And then, of course, when everything is all said and done, we can collect the XP. Now that everything is completely done, I'm sure you want to see this XP furnace array or furnace XP farm in action. So I put myself into survival mode. I have no levels, and I already pulled items from this one and this one. So we're going to pull from the blast furnace, and if we take a look inside the chest, we have cooked up or smelted almost 3 stacks of iron. So we're going to get all the XP for the iron that came through, and what we need to do is shut this down. So let's pull these out, and we're going to pretend all of this has cooked already. And for those of you who haven't seen part 1 or any of my other XP farm videos, I did explain how the redstone works as far as that goes and storing the XP. But what this is going to do, we have this last stack here. This is going to finish cooking, but we are going to just go ahead and pull it. Again, we are going to get the XP for all of this that cooks and all of the iron that already passed through. So if we pull this, that gave us 8 levels, which is not bad at all. And this brings us to the end of part 2 of the 2-part XP furnace array tutorial. And again, I really felt like that these needed to be 2 separate videos, not because of time, but because I really believe that these 2 builds could be standalone. Part 1 could be its own build, and part 2, with everything overall, could be its own separate build, which is why I decided to do it the way I did. But with that being said, everyone, this is the end of the XP furnace array tutorial. I really hope you guys enjoyed it. This has been Rogue Fox, and I will see you later.